Stability AI just announced Stable Cascade, which is effectively a new AI model which significantly outperforms their previous releases by 243% in terms of aesthetic quality. Now, it's based on something called Würstchen architecture and is designed for text to image generation. What is Würstchen architecture? So, it's a process that allows you to generate quicker and more aesthetic looking images faster. And one of the most important things that you would notice up front is that it's like a 3-stage process. The first stage here is basically the stage C that will accept the prompt from the user. It will convert the user input into highly compressed form known as latents, which are basically 24 into 24 in dimension. Now, this stage is why this model is so accurate and so fast, and I'll show you the quality benchmarks in a little bit as well, is because before it generates the final image, it creates like a small and basic blueprint of the image that is trying to generate. And then stage A and B are effectively where the entire image is generated and then upscaled to 1024 into 102. So if we look through the benchmarks, you will notice that it's outperforming all the previous models in almost all the cases here. So Playground version 2 versus Stable Cascade, it does well when it comes to prompt alignment, which means how aligned the generation is with respect to what the user wanted to generate in the first place. Then there is the SDXL Turbo versus Stable Cascade, and then there is the SDXL model itself. You can see all the parameters it's doing really well. From the aesthetic quality standpoint, it's relatively less than Playground version 2, but it's way above the SDXL Turbo and also SDXL in general and Würstchen version 2. Now, inference speed comparison, obviously it takes more time than SDXL Turbo because the goal of SDXL Turbo itself was to, have faster image generation. You can see some of the images that are generated here. One of the great things about the model is that it can generate consistent and pose images, which is something we've done extensively on ControlNet, but not specifically on Stable Diffusion before. You can see the image to image here. So the image was uploaded and then you can regenerate that image across different characters, but with the same style of the image. You can see it also works on masking where you highlight the certain areas of the image and then you can regenerate that part of the image, which effectively looks different, and it's very similar to what inpainting does. But the quality looks very, very clean here. You can see you can also generate, images from blueprints like these, which is something that we used to do with the ControlNet itself. And then it can be super upscaled to 2048 into 2048. So you can see these are some of the samples. And it's very straightforward that way. Just know that this is a very powerful model. Not only that has reduced the speed of generation, but also significantly improved the aesthetic quality of the images, which is something that we'll see now. Now, there are three approaches rather to run this. First, you can download this in the local system, just like the previous model. You can also install this using Pinocchio, and I'll add the link to the Pinocchio tutorial in the cards here, so you should see it pop up somewhere here, or you can check the description. Pinocchio is effectively a tool where you can install the entire open source models like these with just one click, right? If you have the bandwidth and the capacity to run it, which most of us don't have, and which is exactly why there are two other options that we can explore. First is the demo on Hugging Face itself. I'm going to just go to Collab, which is the second option to run the model. I'll add the link to this Collab doc in the description. You can see this guy created it, and you can run it using the free version of Google Colab, right? So effectively all you need to do is, click on step 1, which will set up the system, click on step 2, which will load the models that you need, and then click on step 3, which will run the model for you. Now this is where you can generate the image, and post you run this, you will see something like this, and it's the Gradio screen or UI where you can put the prompt here and then click on run. And then you also have options for advanced prompting here, which is something you can also do. You can say already generated an image of a panda on a cycle with a dog. While this does not look like a dog, I tried the same exact image in ChatGPT and it gave out great results. So I'm going to try a few more samples now, and I'm going to show you how the model itself differs from the DALL-E 3 version of ChatGPT. So we are now generating a very weird prompt, a human with the ears of a mouse and a face of a cat. CAD. You can see just like when you run models locally, you would see a loading bar like this that's effectively going through the number of steps that you have configured in advanced options. So you can see if you go to advanced option, you will be able to set up the number of inference steps. The more the number of steps, the longer the model will run, but the image will be cleaner. The less, the less the model will run, but the image will be slightly less quality. For the guidance scale, it basically says the higher guidance scale is going to use the prompt as is. So it's going to give more weightage to the prompt, while a less guidance scale will also introduce this concept of randomization. You can obviously generate more than one images, and then there is the height and width here that you can apparently go to 1536, and this should also be 15. It seems the image should be generated now. So unfortunately, the collab doc here kind of takes forever to run this, primarily because I'm on the free GPU right now, and the Stable Cascade version is demolishing it, where you can see it's kind of loading the image. While in the meantime, I found a great Hugging Face demo space where you can actually run this, and it's very fast, almost like 10 times fast than this. So anyways, when I put the same prompt in DALL-E 4, you can see it was able to generate this very weird looking creature, which is exactly what I was looking for. But the face looks like the face of the mouse. Now in the same time, if you look at the generation here, while the face is of the cat, the ears are of a cat and not the mouse. So, generation wise, both of these look good, but honestly, this one looks a little bit closer to what I wanted to generate than this one. Right now, the same model I ran on the Stable Cascade. Primarily, if you look at the samples here, it says that it can also generate text. I tried generating, an image with the text, and you can see this is what it generated. While it did generate a cute cockroach, but it did not have any sort of text. Now let's explicitly say holding a board that says text. Right now, let's hope that it's able to kind of recognize this and generate the results accordingly. While at the ChatGPT side of the story, it's killing it. I mean, the text is not perfect. You can see it's war and not your. But the rest of the characters are fine, and the overall generation looks fine as well. Just for the sake of it, we'll try one more generation here while we generate the image. And you can see this is, it's not as good as the one we saw on ChatGPT before, but the text came out very good, right? Now let's say image of a cute cockroach, realistic, holding a board that says. The reason why it might have generated that is probably because the prompt wasn't as clear, right? So let's give it another shot while we wait for the generation. Seems it's already generated, and it still seems like a cockroach. Oh no, it's actually generating the image. But the text is messed up. The cockroach looks cute, but the text is messed up. While if we look here, now there is no issue in the text. The image generation is great, and the text is great as well. So it's probably not there yet comparison when it comes to DALL-E 3, but it's very good. Like overall, it seems relatively better than the ones that I've previously used in Stable Diffusion XL and Turbo boards. Or obviously Turbo isn't geared for these sort of generation, but this looks very good. Now let's try generating something else. Face of a person. Let's say Elon Musk as an alien. We'll punch this exact same prompt on DALL-E 3 as well. I am mostly certain that it's not going to generate the face of Elon Musk because DALL-E won't do that. Neither would Google Gemini or Ultra version. But let's give it a shot and see if we're able to generate something there as well. The great thing about the open source models is that you can actually generate real human faces, which is something that you can't. And that's also kind of unfortunate thing, because since you can generate like faces like these, it can also kind of lead to frauds and stuff. Now this is the face of potential alien, but there is no direct connection with Elon Musk. Obviously there is the inspired case, but it's not really related. Now while this is purely an Elon Musk, it does not have any alien character. Let's say we can configure this. Let's see if that changes anything. And then we're going to be punching the same exact thing here to see if that changes anything else. So basically we're saying Elon Musk has an alien, long ears, long hair, blue skin, red eyes, teeth out. Now don't be confused by the image. The actual image is being generated, and you can see there is that is the face that we were looking for. Not bad. So it didn't still follow the blue skin bit, but you can see, and also the red eye bit. See if we can change the guidance scale here and if that changes anything. Now this one followed the prompt too much, except for the fact it missed out the main character, which I know that these images will not generate. Now let's say a person like Elon Musk as a name. So not exactly Elon Musk, but let's say someone else who looks like Elon Musk as a person. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there is actually a look-alike of Elon Musk that actually went and met Musk. I don't know where he's from. I think it's Korea, but not 100% certain. But I'm just trying to see if we can bypass this by bypass the model generation bit by putting in queries like, again, it's not going to take the direct name and not generate the face. We know in the backend it can. It's just it won't do it on our face, but in the backend it's probably already generating face. So this is the generation. It was able to generate a person like Elon Musk. Yeah, I mean it's still not following the red eyes and blue skin part. But it's okay. I mean it's an open source model that can do things like these for us. I mean at some point we'll get there. Now let's try one more thing. Elon Musk holding text board that says off to Mars. Let's see if we're able to do generation. I'm pretty sure or mostly sure DALL-E won't be able to generate the face of Elon Musk, but let's see if we are able to generate something on these lines. Let's give it a shot. This one looks good. Obviously there is a typo here. It's not off, but rather OFF to Mars. Looks very good. Like overall the generation is great. Now this is not directly Elon Musk, but the text is fine and the concept is okay. I like this one better though. Not because there's an Elon Musk in it, but rather it kind of captures his vibe. We're trying out one final prompt that basically says a human with combination of all animals on Earth. GPT already generated this and something really weird, but not something that I didn't expect. And in the meantime, this is kind of also taking long. By the way, you can't run beyond 60 seconds in scenarios where you don't have a paid plan, I think, on Hugging Face. So it basically means this also runs for free, but you can't run beyond 60 seconds, and it kind of waits for free GPU to be available before it can run the generation for you. So I'm just hoping I'm able to generate this one image, and then I think that's probably going to be it with respect to the model itself. So yeah, I think this is the image and it's kind of generating the image. While it does not look as funky as it is, it kind of portrays the human as the planet itself, and then there are animals flying around. This is something that we weren't looking for, more like something like this. It's almost like characteristics of animals. So yes, obviously there is, what I understand from here is that there is some sort of fine tuning happening in GPT-4 when it comes to the prompts themselves. So when you feed prompts, it's fine tuning the prompt. If you click here, you will see this is what GPT is doing in the backend to fine tune the prompt, while in here you're effectively putting the prompt as is. It's probably the difference with respect to how the prompt is sent, and if you are able to send better prompts like these ones, then it will be able to generate better images for you. So overall, this is all about the video itself. I personally love the model and I love the way it's going. I'm 100% certain that there's going to be like a powerful open source model coming out this year, at least for text LLMs. But looking at this, I feel it's going to be also an year where we get like proper image generation tools and the model that is going to be open. So I'm really excited. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys in the next